Greetings, this is Charles Darwin. I'm speaking to you again from the bed of the Paluxy River in Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas. And if you've been following this channel, you know that I have been reporting here for 3 years, meeting with Glenn Kuban, who has pointed out various dinosaur trackways and all the things that we can learn from them. Today, I'm here with Ronnie Hastings and with my videographer assistant Sonia Ross, and we're up on some hard dolomitic limestone. And this is a place where people claim to have seen human footprints left in the mud. So, Ronnie, take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Darwin. Yes, we're on this dolomitic limestone ledge, which is much harder than the level down below, which is less dolomitic, and that means that it's softer, more can't resist erosion like this one up here can. We've taken pictures of features on this level. They're 25 years old, and they're the same today as they were like 25 years ago.
But in contrast, the dinosaur footprints have often, the real dinosaur footprints have washed away, sometimes just within years.
That is correct, yes. Sometimes it only takes years for some of the dinosaur tracks to wash away. Nothing up here. If there was actual tracks on this level, and there are not any actual tracks on this level, they would be preserved for a long, long time. We wouldn't have to worry about these ever disappearing. What's interesting is that they claim that there are mantracks on this level, and visitors have been misled to look for tracks up here. But the mantrack enthusiasts think that there are some up here, and I want to show you what they think are mantracks. Right here in front of us is an example of the first one, and you see it has the basic elongate shape like this, and so the narrower end would be the heel, whereas this up here would be the toe part. There's not a lot of toe indentation, and but they're not deterred by that, even though you'd think that they would just make a track of their own in the sand and look and see what a human print would look like. The fact that it has this overall shape makes them think it's genuine because it's in line with another mark that's very similar. Now, before we leave this one, point out to you the direction of the long axis of this. This is parallel to the river, and in other words, we think that all of these marks, including this one that we're seeing up here, were made by the scouring effects of the river rising to this level time and time again over probably hundreds of years. All right, so let's go over to the second one, and here's what makes it intriguing, that they think that this particular feature right here is in line with it. Now, this one is strange that they would claim that, because this nice big crack across it makes it look like that this doesn't have much to do with this side, but they love the fact that, look at that right there, that looks like a what?
A big toe.
A big toe, it sure does. It looks like a left big toe, and supposedly the other features are not, the other toes didn't show up as well, but they still will count this, and there's not much of a heel indentation here, but because it's in line with the first one, and even though it's a big leap, it's like a long jumping or something, to get from the first one to the second one, they still like this one as being an example of an alleged mantrack. Again, it's just a scour feature, long axis in the direction of the flow of the river, but nonetheless in line with the third one that we'll see here. And this one is really kind of weird because this is the classic oval indentation that we can see all over the place. And when we finish these three, I'll just randomly show you a couple of others around here. And this one has a famous toe, but what I've done here is I've just taken my finger. Remember, this is really hard limestone, so this is an actual hole in the limestone. And what they would do is they would leave it partially infilled, and it looked like the same kind of indentation.
Like a little divot.
A little divot for a toe, for a big toe, just like the second one we saw. And yet notice it's not in the wrong position for it to. That's a very strange human. I don't know what the answer to that would be, but the heel obviously would go way back to here, and so that is the third in a sequence of 1, 2, 3. And if you try to walk those, like I say, it would be like long jumping from one step to another. Now, the only coincidence of note here is that they happen to be sort of in line, and that's what causes the the erroneous assumptions that they make. Now let me just go off to the side here with the end of my staff here, and look, here's one not necessarily parallel with the river, but look again, an oval appearance, and then there's one over there by Mr. Darwin's foot. In fact, there are two. Look at these oval ones right here that are maybe not quite. You could say there's a big flat-footed one with a small footprint in the middle, or no telling what that is. No kind of what.
Oh, that was a little kid.
Maybe that was a little kid. Yeah, exactly. So the point is, if you want to know what genuine tracks would be fossilized in whatever matrix you have, you know, just remind yourself, go and step in some wet sand and look at the toes, look at the bottom of the feet, where the heel makes the depression, and then look at the famous fossilized humanoid prints in Lake Tole, East Africa, and there where you see apparently two adults and one juvenile, one child walking, and you can see that that looks very much like the footprints that we make. It looks nothing like these erosional features here on the ledge here in the pond.
So there's no actual tracks here, it's just little lumps that people imagine to be footprints,
exactly.
And if they want to believe them enough, then they will see them?
I think that's probably an accurate assessment. In fact, I thought about you could bring a troop of kids out here and say, okay, I want you to go find a tiger print. I want you to go find a bear print. In fact, there's one here, I think it's covered up with sand now, that was called the bear print. And they will use their imaginations and they will find something that resembles what they think, whatever they're looking for looks like. So there's no, it's just, you know, we can just finish up, look at that one right there. You know, it's like, it's a scour mark made by the river. It's taken years to do because these marks, these three I just showed you, they're about the same way they were like 25 years ago. Right. But nonetheless, the lesson is, if it looks like a mantrack, it is not necessarily a mantrack. You need to remind yourself of what a genuine track would look like.
So it'd be like E. Cummings said, so whatever we lose, like a you or a me, it's always ourselves we find in the sea.
That's right. That's right. Or Shakespeare said, methinks it looks like a mantrack.
Thank you very much. Ronnie Hastings and Sonia Ross. This is Charles Darwin, tally ho, and amen.